This is 1992, Parkview High School t-shirt. I still have it. Still kind of fits too. It's kind of cool. All right, so school theme tonight. This is going to be part of my story. 1992 is actually, it's a lie. I really was supposed to be 91. And so I'll kind of explain that in my story tonight. So my parents' vision of my educational career was to attend school, be an average student, average meaning B's are pretty good, go and graduate high school, go to a four-year college and get a degree. Like most people, right? Sounds like normal person. I'm not a normal person. My idea of having education, survive. Now let me explain survive, because survive is kind of short. There's a lot to that. When I say survive, D-, B is not in the right area for me, D-, because D- is passing. D- gets you through that test to the next one. It passes that piece of homework, gets you through the class, gets you through that grade, right? D- is just as good as a straight A. I'm going the same direction everybody else, right? I just don't have to work that hard. And so the idea was to go through high school, get the diploma. That was the minimum. That was the goal. Now, I had one more thing that I promised myself I'd never do because I had no interest in doing it. It's reading a book. I did not read a book my entire school career, ever. It's a little bit of a lie because I did start to read a book, The Scarlet Letter. I was told it was about sex, so I was like, yeah, thumb through that, you know. Didn't have pictures or anything, but I didn't make it far because it was kind of boring. So we actually did not read that book either. So let's start with elementary school. So in elementary school, you do a lot of following instruction. So you're told, Mark, get up, get in line, follow the line leader, go to the library. Mark, get up, get in line, follow the line leader, go to the lunchroom. Pick up your tray. Someone's going to put food on it. You're going to sit in their assigned seat over there, and you're going to eat it, and you're going to like it. It's a lot of that. You're being told what to do the whole time. The other thing that you're told, right, you always have to ask. Mark, you have to ask. You got to raise your hand. You're not allowed to just speak. Now, it's really hard, in your younger years of elementary to get that concept, and I struggled a little bit, but I made it. We made it. In first grade, I got the concept of the hand. I said, teacher, right? Yes, Mark, I have to use the bathroom. And teacher said, well, we're about to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and you're going to have to wait. I'm like, no, I really got to go. She's like, no, I denied. And so, Pledge Allegiance to the flag, and I just peed all over the floor. And that was kind of like the highlight of my elementary school career. But, there's other things, right? Standardized testing was another one of those things that you had to do. It was mandatory. And I struggled through that the first time, and then I realized, wait a second, we don't get a grade for this? There's no grade? Well, why am I trying, right? So I would do things like the Scantron sheet. I'd write my name in dots, or I'd, pull out my artistic talents and make something that looked really cool. And the incentive for finishing faster was that when you finished, you got to put your head down on the desk and take a nap. And so I was always the first one done. I scratched through the Scantron and done. Nap time. So I thought I kind of beat the school system when I pulled that off. I was, again, young kid. I knew what I was doing. And then they offered me up, Mark, would you like to be a crossing guard? One of those people wear the little orange little vest and you got the badge and you hold your arms out and tell the kids when they can cross the road. And I'm like, I don't know, that sounds like a lot of responsibility. And then I heard more about it. I'm like, well, that's genius. I get to be late to school because I got to be the last one to leave the post. And when it's wintertime, I get free hot chocolate, sometimes a free donut, and I can still be late to class and nobody cares. I get to leave school like 5 minutes early because I got to be out to my post before everybody gets out of school. Nobody seems to care I leave early. So I thought that was a genius thing. So I went ahead and did that. So let's go to middle school. Things changed drastically in middle school. suddenly you have to make decisions. Like overnight, I went from, teacher, can I do this? Mark, do that, to, Mark, what are you going to do? And I was overwhelmed. I had no clue how to deal with what was going on. You have to pick your classes. You have elective classes to pick. What are you going to pick? You got to pick an instrument. Well, that was an easy one. I already knew that one. I'm going to play drums. Right? I'm not going to carry some trombone or saxophone home every day. Those poor kids I saw, I'm on drumsticks. I could beat people with them and do cool stuff. Pulled my pocket. So I played the drums. That worked out really well for me. But as the year went on, there were a lot of things that I didn't adjust to. And my grades started really going downhill. That D- was turning into really bad Fs, like way down. Whereas you're never going to recover like halfway through the year. My parents still had hope. They thought I had vision problems, so they took me to the doctor. They moved me to the front of the classroom. No, vision's good. Maybe I couldn't hear, right? So they sent me to the little specialist in the building, and you didn't want anybody to ever see you going in and out of the office because that's like where the dumb kids went. And so I'd sneak in and out, and after a couple sessions, the lady's like, "Man, no, he's good. He knows what's up. He doesn't have any problems." And so that was an issue. So then my parents were like, "We need to find what drives you. What is it that drives you? What's your passion? What catches your attention? Motivation. What is it?" And I'm like, "I don't know." My parents hated that. "I don't know." I always said that, and they're like, "I hate that when you say I don't know. It's got to be something." I thought about it, and I said, "There is something." "You're right. I do. There is it." Wow. And I'm looking around me in middle school, and then I realize, boobies. My God, they're everywhere. I've never noticed them before. And teachers included, by the way. And so there was my motivation. I suddenly wanted to come to school every day. I wanted to look and pay attention to everything going around me. I was so alert. I was just picking up everything. And my parents were like, "Well, that's great, but I failed 6th grade." Right, 92, 91, right? So I failed 6th grade. Well, it's okay, right? You get to redo it. No big deal. So I just redid 6th grade. And I became the #1 drummer because I had already done it for a year, so I didn't have to practice. I just show up and #1 drummer. Cool. Right? So I already knew how that all worked. So then I suddenly became like the cool guy in town. I've been here, I've done that. I know how it works. We're good. I can manage my time. I can eat my pizza every day and my milkshake every day. It's cool. And so that went on. And I also found out there's this thing called summer school. I'm like, summer school? What is this summer school thing? Well, what you can do is you take 2 classes in summer school. So that means 2 classes during the school year, you don't have to do any work because you're going to take it in summer school. So I usually pick a class where you have to read a book because in summer school, you don't have time to read a book. It's very short. It's only a couple weeks instead of a whole school year. And so I just didn't do any work. I had basically 2 extra study halls that I could goof off, look at boobies, whatever it is, right? It's really cool. And that worked out really well. I did summer school every single year. That was part of my plan. Every year until my junior year of high school. And what was also cool about summer school is that up until that point, the same people traveled with me from elementary school through, right? Same talent. Well, when you go to summer school, they combine the schools, right? So now there's new talent and new ladies. And it's only a half a day. So the first half of the day, you go to school with your new friends, and then your parents don't get home until like 5 or 6 in the evening, so you got like half a day to go party. I mean, your summer's still good. You're going to go out and do whatever you want to do. So that worked out really well for me. Another thing I found out, now I had a really smart sister. She was an honors person. I'm not. I found out that I was in academic classes. I didn't even know that was such a thing until I found out there's general classes. And in a general class, you just got to show up and just listen. And you can get like more than a D-. You can get like a C. And I was like the smartest guy in the world for the rest of my career. So that also worked out well for me. So then we go on to high school. In high school, you have to pick elective classes. And I picked marriage and family because you get to do the fake little wedding and you get to kiss the ladies, right? So that was kind of cool. And then I picked child development. I figured that would be a really easy class. Get to play with the teacher's kids. You get to go play in the jungle gym out back and everything. And that was really cool until the kid hit me in the face and I got a really bad nosebleed. And then everybody in the school was like, "Oh, Mark got beat up by a kid." That didn't work out too well, but then I found out when your junior and senior year, there was an option to go to this special school. And I was like, a special school? What exactly is that? It's called VOTEC, Vocational Education. Now, that's just normally where like the druggies, the smokers, the losers go, and they all wear these blue jackets. They were kind of known, and I wasn't really in that group. I was a football player, you know. But I was like, well, tell me more about the school. And they're like, well, we ship you off a half a day to the school for 2 years, and you learn how to do something. I'm like, oh, auto mechanics, that would be pretty cool. Let's do that. And so we did that for 2 years. And of course, you don't have to do a full lineup of classes, of real classes, for 2 years. You get to skip out on all that stuff, which, again, cool, right? And so I graduated high school. And to all you people with your honors classes and your special stuff, right? I graduated with 2 degrees. I had my little high school diploma. I'm going to call it a degree. Good enough. And then I had my vocational educational degree. All right? So I know all y'all are thinking, this guy's a complete loser. No, I had it going on, right? I knew what I was doing. And just so you know that I'm not really a loser, right? My senior prom date, she was Miss Loudoun County. Right? And she had graduated a year previous. So I got to hang out with someone my own age, which was kind of cool as well. So that's kind of my story of kind of how I beat the system. I did want to mention one thing about the book thing. I still don't own any books. I don't read books. There's no purpose in books. And Danielle, wherever she is, she's a writer, and she gave me a book a while back. And I told her I don't read, but I'll take it because you're nice. And I got to tell you, I regifted it immediately. So, sorry. Thank you.